to start with is just, again, everything means something. The stuff that the priest wears, these clothes, why do we wear black as priests? Why not, like, fuchsia, or, like, I don't know, like, camo, I don't know, I love that, I don't know. Why do we wear black? Why do we wear black? It's because black is a symbol of death. Death, right? It's a symbol of death. It goes all the way back to St. Benedict in the 5th, 6th century, who, when he was beginning the Benedictine order, he had his brothers, his monks, dress themselves in black, and he would have them greet each other by saying, frater, memento mori, brother, remember your death. Brother, remember that, this life, you're not getting out of it alive, that we're all heading towards the grave one day, and what we do here matters. So give your heart to the Lord today. Remember your death. And it's a symbol that priests are dead to the goods of this world, that we give up the natural goods of this life in order to become symbols and signs that there is something even greater than this life. We call it heaven. That's why priests wear black. But what about the little white square right here? If you notice, it's situated right over my vocal cords, right over the voice box, to symbolize that the priest is always supposed to speak with the purity of the gospel. Now, do priests always speak with the purity of the gospel? No, right? We're sinners, we're broken, we're all human. But that's what we're supposed to aspire to. So we're supposed to always speak with the purity of the gospel. Now, when we get ready for Mass, there's several layers that we put on. And the first layer is the alb. So I'm going to put the alb on here real quick. This is all part of the show. This goes on behind the scenes. So the word alb comes from the Latin word albus, which means white. Think of any of you read Harry Potter, Albus Dumbledore, right? With the long white beard. That's why we wear that. So it's a symbol, not because of Albus Dumbledore, right? But we wear this because it's a symbol of our baptismal garment, that when all of us were baptized, we were clothed in a white garment. So priests, just like everybody else, are part of the priesthood of the baptized, which all of us are. And it's also a symbol that when we hear John talking about what happens in heaven, the liturgy of heaven, he says, I see angels and saints that are dressed in long white robes that have been washed in the blood of the Lamb. This is a symbol of the heavenly liturgy. So if you wanted, because you are baptized, you could show up every single Sunday and dress in an alb, because it's your right. You're part of the priesthood of the baptized. Just saying, you could. It would be kind of weird, but you could. Okay, so this is the first layer. The second layer is the cincture. Again, everything means something. It's a belt that girds around the loins. It's a symbol of the priest's promise of celibate chastity that we hear St. Paul talking about. Gird your loins in truth. So it's a symbol of that virtue, of that grace that as priests we're constantly praying for. Okay, the next symbol, the next article is the stole. Done this in front of so many people. Okay, the stole represents the yoke of Christ. You put it on, I'm going to work. That's what this means. And if you notice, the priest kisses the stole before he puts it on. Why? Because in our vocations, as priests, as married people, we kiss the very things that are going to demand our lives. A priest puts the stole on, he kisses it. Think of that scene in the Passion of the Christ where Jesus embraces the cross, and he kisses the cross right before he carries it. It's this thing that I am embracing. This is the thing that's going to demand my life. This is the thing that I'm laying my life down for. Husbands and wives, that's each other, right? And your children, you kiss your children. As a priest, I kiss the stole. There's going to be some other things that I kiss throughout Mass. Last but not least is the chasuble. And I get to wear pink today. All right. It's Laetare Sunday, 4th Sunday of Lent, which means You can remember that because Jesus didn't pink from the dead, he rose from the dead. Okay? Just Chasuble comes from the Latin word casula, which means little house. You can kind of see how it's like a little house, like a little tent. And it represents charity, that over everything else, the priest is supposed to be clothed in charity and love. So at the beginning of every Mass, the priest vests himself in all these things, and they mean something. We go to the back of the church, we prepare ourselves for the procession, which is a symbol of the fact that as Christians, we are journeying through life, that we are not static, that we are on a journey. So the procession is not just, okay, well, how do we get from point A to point B? The procession has a symbolism, it has a meaning.